We are live on Instagram. Good morning.
And this phone works. It's the same way, but it's the other phone. I just need to, I don't know, do something.
Do something.
Oh, what's going on, everybody? We're almost in May.
It's gonna be May.
Oh, no. Wow.
You know.
Some of you know what she's talking. Some of you know what she's talking about. Guess what happens in May?
You finish school.
No.
It's your birthday.
Yeah, my next class starts on my birthday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I have a month off.
This guy's gonna be
It's
50.
killing me. 53. Yep. I'm old. Ha!
You don't look a day
I
over
don't
25.
feel it. Guys, I don't know what 53 is supposed to feel like, but it ain't what I thought when I was younger. What 53 was going to feel like.
It's what the general population expects.
Think about when we were growing up, like Cocoon. Wilford Brimley was 50 something in that movie. No, he was less. He was younger than that. Oh, and my phone's over here now. Okay, I'm old. And see, she doesn't even know what Cocoon is.
I was like, did I tell him? I have no idea what he's talking about.
Oh my God. Who do you remember? Three's Company?
Yes.
John Ritter. I forget what the two. What was the neighbor that lived downstairs that came up all the time? They were in their like 30s or 40s or so. They were like not even. I'm older than they were.
Juliana said Blanche from the Golden Girls was in her 40s.
Was in her 40s.
Come on, no freaking
40s
way.
was the golden age, right?
No,
you're a golden
way.
girl.
No way. No way.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
Yeah, Mr. Hurley. Yes, from downstairs in Three's Company. He was like 30s, 40s, or something like that. Like they were all
insanity.
I always thought they were so old.
Honestly, even the fact that was it Seinfeld, they were like in their 30s.
Really?
But or maybe even they're supposed to be younger than that.
Oh, you mean their characters?
The characters.
Right.
But they didn't look that.
No.
I would have put them in their 40s easily.
Okay.
So, anyway.
Yeah. So I'll be 53 Memorial Day weekend. So I hope everybody wishes me a happy birthday.
Aging is inevitable, but getting old is a choice.
Is a choice. Ooh, there's your quote of the day. Kicking it off.
Yeah.
Aging is so total rant for a second. This is one of the reasons why I don't understand. I just don't understand the obsession with longevity in this space. People are literally spending millions of dollars on longevity science. And even if that gains them 6 months, a year, because again, we don't know if any of it, the only way
any of this is adding 20 years to your life.
Right. The only way we're going to know if any longevity science is anywhere close to being effective or accurate is when someone goes to 100 and 110 and 100, and none of the people doing it are 100. They're all in their 40s and 30s. Right. So we've got
not going to know for
40, 50, 60, 70 years before we even know if any of it works.
Yep.
It just boggles my mind. Like why the focus on longevity and not on life?
Wellness. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There's the question. Why is the focus on longevity and not on the life you currently have? Like live as well as you possibly can.
Lifespan versus health span, two totally different things.
Yeah. It boggles my mind. It boggles my mind. Anywho, where did that even come from?
We're talking about your age.
Oh, yeah. No, but there's something like snapped in my brain. It's like, I got to get this out. Okay. We are talking about the quality of life aspect.
The topic of the day is the illusion of balance,
Yes.
the can you really have it all at the same time?
Well, what's the word, the phrase that started this whole thing a couple weeks ago?
There is no net zero.
There's no net zero. Everything is a trade-off.
A trade-off.
Everything is a trade-off. Why is that important? Why is it important to understand? And I'll let you go on because this is your topic. You brought this up. So why is it important to understand that everything is a trade-off? Why does it matter?
Oh boy. I mean, there's so much I can say, but let's start with
You want to go with
mindset, perspective. Perspective is everything. So when you are thinking something should be a certain way.
Oh, we talked about this last week.
We talked about it last week, right? So if you think you have this illusion that you can crush all of these separate goals at the same time and achieve something in a short period of time that is unrealistic to achieve in a short period of time, or you think you can have it both ways, which is really what inspired this topic.
You
Was
can't have your cake.
you want to have your cake and eat it too, right? You want to say,
I don't understand that. I never understood
yeah,
that
I
statement.
never.
We all know what it means, but it makes no
Right.
sense. I have to have it in order to eat it. So how does this make any sense to you?
It's always dumbfounded me, yes. But like a lot of, okay, we see it in this, I want this result, but I want to depart from the work it takes to get that result along the way, and then I'm mad I'm not getting that result.
Or I want this result, and I want that result, and I want this result. And it's going to mean I have to do this, and I have to do this, and I have to do this. And then I'm so stressed because all of the things.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We talked about that other word
the biggest
this morning.
thing that really drove this topic was this concept of like you have these big goals you want to reach with your physique, with your health, with, in this space, health and fitness, right? And yet you want balance in your life. You want to live a little. You want to have fun. You want to prioritize your family, prioritize your career, prioritize travel, prioritize all these other things. The definition of priority is that there's one. You can't have multiple priorities and accomplish all of them as well as the other all at the same time.
All at the same time. I want to say it was Alex Hormozy, but it was one of those business kind of influencer guys. And this is, and before I say what the statement was, this is a, what's the word I'm looking for? This is a topic that is close to me because it's something that I've always felt like I want to have a certain level of balance in my relationship, in my work, and the time I spend doing different things. And at the same time, I know that I can't get where I want to go in certain things without focusing on those things, giving them a heavier weight than other things. And it's always been hard for me because I haven't wanted to sacrifice a relationship, right? I haven't wanted to sacrifice time with people that I care about or sacrifice a hobby, or there's so many things that we juggle, right? So
that's the concept of sacrifice. That there has to be some trade-off.
Yeah.
If there's something that you want to accomplish in a particular area, something else is going to have to give.
It's going to have to give. The statement that I heard that just, right? Because it also goes towards, if you really are passionate and committed to trying to get somewhere and you're wondering if you're doing the right thing, you're wondering if you're putting enough in.
Yeah.
Part of this conversation is you taking the time to be self-aware and ask yourself if you are balanced or not. In the case of what the statement I'm about to make, if you are balanced, you are not going where you want to go. Okay? And the statement that I heard that just hit me like a ton of bricks was, no one who has ever accomplished anything great was balanced. There's not a single person that you can think of in history. If their name is in the history books, everything that they did to get their name in the history books was not balanced with other aspects of their life. Name a famous person. Martin Luther King, JFK, Einstein, every single one of them did fantastic. Gandhi, Mother Teresa, they all did something fantastic. And they all have some dirty thing in the background, something in the closet,
They had to sacrifice.
something in their family, some other thing that, people, they weren't so great because of this. Well, you can't be great at everything
all at the same time.
Right? It just doesn't happen. It's not, you can't serve two masters, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So understanding that if you have a goal, if your why is so big, okay, and you are struggling to get there and you're feeling like it's not enough. Maybe it's because you're holding on to something else. Maybe, and now we're not saying, because I know people are going to go, well, but I don't want to give up my family and my friends.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We're not talking
we're
about.
talking about what's in here.
Yes. And we're not talking about everything doesn't have to give, right? So once again, it goes back to this black and white thinking, this all or nothing mentality, right?
Yes.
I have gone through many a competition prep and didn't have to give up all of my relationships. I didn't have to say, well, now I can't be with Bronson anymore because I'm prepping for a show. Babe, guess what? I'm not going to see you for 4 months. I'll be doing my thing and you do your thing and I'll see you when I'm done with the show. You're not giving up entire other parts of your life.
Right.
But it's also not the time that you can squarely focus your attention on another area of your life to excel in at the same time.
Example, for your prepping for a show. Right now, she goes to the gym once a day. Let's just say.
Not even.
Right? Well, I'm just saying, she goes to the gym, she'll go to the gym, she does her thing, that's it. Prepping for a show, she may go in the morning, she may go in the evening, she may go in she's away, we're not
Things
together
have to
as
adjust.
much.
Yes.
The
things
focus
have
that
to
she
adjust.
puts onto her food, right? It's much more deliberate in what's going on. So there's less stuff for me to enjoy around the house because she does the shopping, right?
Yeah.
There's a change in a dynamic in the relationship, in the way that we live our lives based on that.
Right. We're not going to go out to eat as often.
It has to be a shift. There is a shift, right? We don't go out to eat as much. You're spending more time away because you're working out. There's the change, right? So when we talk about seasons, because that's what we're talking about in a way.
Yeah.
It's never, guys, it's never fall and spring at the same time.
Ooh, that's a really good analogy.
It's never summer and winter at the same time. When you are going through seasons, the time for that season means that's where your focus is. There may be a period of transition from summer to fall where you can merge priorities. You relax one as you move into another. You adjust, and maybe you call that your deload time, right? whatever you want to call it. But there always has to be something. Unless you live in Northern Virginia.
I was like, somebody's going to talk about
winter and spring at the same time.
I was
right?
like, yeah. But that's so many places too. Yeah.
Georgia especially.
Georgia was very much like that. Yeah.
But that's the kind of the idea. And where this gets people caught up, I think, is two. We talked about one this morning with the focus thing. Mm-hmm. The other one is the frustration and feeling like you want to quit because you're just not getting where you want to go.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So
the discouragement.
The discouragement of not getting where you want to go without the awareness.
That's it.
That what you're doing is you have a bucket that you're trying to fit too many things into. Or here's another analogy. Some of the things you can fit in there if you make them smaller. Oh. Right? You've made them so big and you've made them so complex and you've put so much weight into them, they just don't fit with the bucket you're trying to work with right now. So maybe you take some small things out that really don't. That's probably a thing a lot of you need to do. Take some things out that don't matter. You can't control them anyway, so why are you putting them in your bucket? Right? Other people's opinions, other people's feelings, other people's priorities. Okay? Take those out. When you take those out, whoa, now I've got a whole bunch of more room to do things with. Now the things that I want to do, I can put in, they can be bigger.
It's the idea of the stress bucket.
Yes.
Right? The energy.
You've only got a certain load. When we say fill your bucket, that's literally what we're talking about.
Fill your cup.
Fill your cup, right?
Yep. Yeah.
What do you want to add to that?
I want to get into the trade-offs piece.
The trade-offs piece?
So, like this morning we were talking about focus. They didn't hear that, right? So the number of times we see clients saying, I'm focusing on this, I'm focusing on this. And it's like a different thing 5 times a day that they say they're focusing on.
Right. In one message or conversation, we'll talk with somebody and they're like, I'm focusing on my macros here. I'm focusing on making sure I do this kind of movement over here, and it's like, how? What?
Imagine it. Write down everything this week that you say you're focusing on.
Yeah. Yes. Try that.
Let's see how long that laundry
How long
list
is your
becomes,
focus list?
Right? You cannot focus on all of those things. It's just like priority. Focus means you are focusing in on a thing. If you have 10 things you're focusing on, you're not actually focused on any of them.
Ooh. Ooh. That hits. That hits. Here's an idea. Put on a video on your phone, something on your TV, something on your laptop, and then have a conversation at the same time.
I would lose my mind.
And then try to figure out and
mind.
remember everything that's going on in one of them.
Overstimulation.
Right? Put on some music.
Sensory overload.
I mean, I have to turn the music down when I'm looking for a street name. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're focused on everything, you're focused on nothing. Exactly. So this is a good topic for those who don't know, the Keto Bikini Academy. We are starting a new challenge on May 4th. So 1 week from today. And I'm right now talking with the ladies inside the academy already about, all right, it's time to start thinking about what your focus is going to be for this challenge. That means we're not focused on everything. You are picking an intention.
Yeah.
And I like to say, don't have more than 3 goals at a time. Or you could have something in nutrition. This is something we talk about whenever I do my Grace and Grind challenge. Something in nutrition, something in fitness, something in mindset, mental health, emotional well-being. So you have these kind of 3 things. Pick one thing in each. If you're gonna have 3 nutrition things and 3 fitness things and 3 mindset things, now you've got 9 different focuses.
Yeah, and in my F2 method challenge, the 60-day challenge, I do it progressively one at a time.
Okay.
Right. So we start with the first week. It's what's the mindset thing I'm doing this week. I get that I practice that. I work on that. And then the next week I add in a nutrition thing while I'm maintaining the mindset thing. And then the next week add in the fitness thing while you're maintaining right. Yes. So you build on it. And then as that thing becomes a habit, because part of your lifestyle, you can add the next thing.
Once you're doing it well, and ideally, automatically.
Right.
So it's no longer a thing you need to focus on anymore, right? So you could say, hey, we're doing a lot of things now, but that's because none of the things, for the most part, that we're doing in health and fitness for ourselves take focus anymore.
How many of you miss when you don't have that treat every day? You're struggling to stop doing that thing. I'm not going to have those nuts. I'm not going to have that coffee with that special creamer.
I feel called out.
Right? There's a reason that was on the top of my tongue.
The pecans are almost gone.
Whatever it may be. I want you to associate, what does it feel like when you're telling yourself you're going to stop doing something that you enjoy doing or that you're used to doing? I'm going to say used to doing. Something that you're used to doing. If you don't feel that way about the things you're doing for your health, then they are not part of your lifestyle yet.
If you don't miss training.
If you don't miss it, then it's not really ingrained and part of you.
Yes.
Right? I miss and I feel bad. I feel like I really need to get off my butt. I took a week off from the gym last week. And by Thursday, is it Thursday that I went? Thursday, I was like, I need to go to the gym. Like, I feel like I need to go to the gym. I couldn't do it any longer.
Yes.
I was trying to just take a week, whatever. It was like, nope, I need to go to the gym.
When something becomes a part of your lifestyle, part of your routine, your habits, you miss it, you crave it when it's not there.
Yeah. So that's where you want to get to with the things that are good for you. Right now, you have that with the things that aren't good for you, that aren't helping
that are unhealthy,
right?
That you're
you need
still
to get there with the
attached
stuff
to.
that's good.
Yes. And focusing on that thing and making that thing your priority first. And I always like to say, focus on the thing that is
that you already know.
That's the biggest thing in your way. Most people could identify the one thing that they are doing right now that they know is the worst thing, the least healthy thing that they can be doing in their lives.
Detrimental to their goals.
Holding them back. And what do? You avoid that thing because you don't want to deal with that. So this is usually why you end up putting so many other focuses in your life. But the one thing that really could move the needle for you is the thing you're avoiding dealing with.
Yes. Yeah. It doesn't take a lot of focus to look at the thing that's right in front of you.
It's glaring. It's like
it's in your face. What it takes focus on is the stuff that's out on the periphery that you're looking at instead of
it's an avoidance
the thing that's right in front of you.
Yeah. It's because you have resistance to dealing with the thing.
Yeah.
That's the
in a lot of cases it does, for sure. Yeah. Could we say that in a way, if you're obsessed with it, or if you're overusing or thinking about the focus you need to have on things, that is a distraction.
Yes, 100%.
Right? You're letting those things distract you.
Yep.
Yeah. Because often, here's the thing. Often, this is another aspect of that. We're just winging it right now, by the way.
Mm-hmm. As usual.
I'm thinking about the times we hear people say they're focusing on things. Mm-hmm. It's often at a level of detail that doesn't even matter to begin with.
Yes, majoring in the minors.
If you have to focus on it, it's probably too small for it to really make a difference anyways. Just take a step back, stop focusing, and just change the dang thing that's in front of you. Right?
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay. So I want to give some examples of trade-offs. Of the concept of balance being an illusion, right? Mm-hmm. So you have a goal.
Yeah, I want to get stronger. I want to deadlift more weight than I've ever deadlifted before. Whatever it may be, some specific fitness, physical goal. You have to go to the gym. But that means that when I have to make a plan for how I'm going to get there. And for a lot of people, that may mean I have to start packing my clothes with me so that I go to the gym on the way home from work.
Because once you get home,
because if I get home, it's done.
Yep.
Right? Then I have to go to the gym.
Yep.
Then now, wait a second. Now, if I go to the gym after work every day, now I have less time to do X, Y, or Z with my kids or my wife or my family or my pet or whatever it may be. So now I have to, where's that trade-off? Okay, well, maybe that's not going to work because my kids have a thing after school that I like to go to okay, so now I go there, then I have to figure out how do I go later after that in the evening.
Or I have to look at my calendar and then and be realistic about what's coming up and find those times that I can fit in my training into the schedule and then prioritize it. It might mean you have to get up earlier.
That's exactly where I was going to go. You have to sacrifice the sleep. I have to change the time, go to bed
Yep.
earlier, get up earlier, and then go to the gym in the morning before the day even starts.
Something has to give. What am I going to trade for this thing I say I want? Here's another good one with your example. If you want to if you want to hit a certain deadlift goal, are you going to be prioritizing a bunch of other
No.
goals
we get
in your
specific.
performance?
Right, we get
you
specific
have to
there.
deadlift. If you want to improve your deadlift, you have to deadlift.
Yeah, I'm not going to get on the treadmill and try to get my steps in.
I
can give a rat's ass about my steps.
The time to sign up for a marathon. It's not going to be the time to sign up for a obstacle course race.
How many times do we have people that are saying that they want to get stronger, and then the next thing we know, they're
doing
some other
long duration cardio?
They're like, I'm going to do a 5K. You just said you want to. What are we doing here?
Also, though, you're not going to go do a program that doesn't incorporate deadlifts.
Right.
If deadlift is your focus.
Yep.
You're not going to go and do a functional fitness program that's not incorporating strength training for deadlifts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
If your focus is, I want to get a bikini physique, you're not going to go and do and sign up for a powerlifting competition.
Depends on, okay. I know what you mean. I'm just saying.
I know, I almost didn't use that as an example because seasons do play in. You could do that for a season.
I'm thinking about the look, and
but that's not a bikini physique.
Depending on who you're talking to. Depending on who you're talking to.
Well, a bikini bodybuilding
We're talking about two different
category.
Things. We're talking about two different things.
Yes.
Competition.
Not what Bronson considers a bikini physique.
I mean, thick thighs save lives.
But also, no, that's a good point too, right? Let's say, because you are the person who wants the physique that you want. Mm-hmm. If somebody else says you need to do CrossFit and you look at that physique
and you're like,
that CrossFitters get, and that's not what you want to look like, you set the vision.
You set the direction. You go where you want to go. Absolutely.
And then you have to understand what it's going to take to get there. And when you're learning what it takes to get there, you can't incorporate all these other goals all at the same time.
Yeah. Can we talk about the non-lifestyle things that you have to sacrifice?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Sometimes you may have to sacrifice your preconceived notions or your expectations or your beliefs about things in order to focus on the thing you actually need to do. I've worked with numerous clients who come to me, I'm struggling, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, blah, I can't get where I want to go. I started working out, I'm doing all the things. I'm getting my sleep, I'm doing all the hacking stuff, the blue light blocker, blue blockers and red light therapy and cold plunges, and just not getting where I want to go. And I'm doing OMAD. Because I heard that this was the best way to do it, air quotes. Well, what if it's not? What if the thing you're stuck on is starting because you're believing something is supposed to do something, and in actuality, it's not? So you need to give it up. Sacrifice that idea. Some of you need to give up completely on the idea of intermittent fasting.
I was going to say fasting.
Fasting, intermittent fasting, long fasting, any kind of fasting, some of you just need to give up on the idea. It is time to sacrifice that idea. And you need to go and give yourself the opportunity to try eating more food on a regular, consistent basis.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said this because,
right?
Yes.
And that is the sacrifice. I'm sacrificing this belief that I have that fasting is going to help me get the weight that I want to be at.
Well,
there's two things there.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. One is that fasting is going to help. If it's not helping, it's not helping. Number two is weight the thing you're really chasing. Right? So this goes back, everything always circles back to the why. Every time. Start with there and you end there. Go ahead.
You were on a rant. love it though, because I just wrote something down for a potential masterclass about why. Oh yeah, I was thinking maybe tomorrow's masterclass, why you're not getting the results you want or seeing the progress that you want to see. Right? I just watched a video on why your glutes aren't growing, and this is what inspired this topic. But and a lot of the time, and one of the things that she said was that you're not eating enough.
It was fine.
Consistently. Well, when you moved it forward, it was like all up in our faces.
Oh, okay.
But she touched on, this was a high level athlete, bodybuilding bikini athlete, and she touched on something really important about, and she shared about one of her off seasons when she did it well versus when she didn't. And one was, okay, I only gained 10 pounds in the off season. In case you didn't know, competitors have to put on weight in the off season because where they are for stage is not healthy. So we need to put weight and fat onto our bodies again.
Yep.
And she said, I was holding on to the not wanting to go above a certain weight and feeling uncomfortable. But she said, I got barely an inch, if even that, of growth in my glutes that season. She said the following season, she went up 20 pounds and she put on 4 inches in her glutes and kept her waist only going up 1 inch. And so all these things she was measuring that showed her she was doing things right, better, to get the results she wanted, to actually put on muscle and not just fat. But the big thing she wasn't doing that previous season was consistently eating enough protein. She would have higher and lower overall intake of food days because she was trying to manage her weight. And she was mentioning, a couple things she mentioned was a lot of women make the mistake of when they lower their calories, they lower all their macros, including their protein.
That's why I hate calories.
And they're bringing
Stop using calories.
And the other thing she mentioned was the inconsistency of having higher days and lower days, where she got with her coach, and her coach had a strict rule about protein. If not everything, protein, no matter what, you will never go below X amount of protein. And when she did that, surprise, her results got so much better.
She didn't have to slam carbs in her
And
face.
I can't tell you how many times I see with clients, I'm like, what are these low days I'm seeing? There are these low days where everything is low, your protein is low. What's going on these days? Am I seeing real numbers, or did you just forget to track something that day, or what happened? And then usually it's, oh yeah, I was here that day and I didn't pay attention, and next thing I know, I wasn't eating enough. And if you constantly have these days and your goal is to build glutes, build muscle, build your metabolism, all these things we talk about in metabolic restoration, building phases, and recomp.
Yep.
You're not going to get there when you're under eating protein.
And here's a way that you can, practical takeaway. Here's a way that you can evaluate or double check yourself. And if the things that you're doing or the things you're interested in doing, or you're going to ask a coach about, are things you should consider. Do I know what my goal is? Question number one.
First and foremost, yeah.
Do I know what my goal is? Question one. Really simple process, guys. Why am I looking at this thing? Why am I interested in this program? Why am I interested in this nutrition hack, protocol, method, program, whatever it may be? Why am I interested in this supplement? Why am I interested in this protocol or book or challenge, whatever it is? Third question, I'm interested in it because blank. Is that in line with my goal?
Is it going to get me to my goal?
Do I know what my goal is? Why am I looking at this thing? Is the answer to that question in line with number one? If it's not, give it away.
And
Drop it.
I would add this.
Let it go.
If your goal is a weight goal,
We have another conversation after.
weight loss, a certain number on the scale, you need to do an extra layer there and ask, what am I trying to achieve by getting to that number on the scale or
Right.
losing that amount
What does
of
that weight do
What
for
does
me?
that mean? Why do I want that? What else is that going to do for me? Because the truth is, whatever that number on the scale or that amount of weight loss represents to you is your real goal. The weight loss or the weight on the scale is not the goal. There's something you're wanting that you think when you get to that number, you're going to have. What is that? Identify what that is, and that is the real goal.
You're opening up a whole nother, my brain.
Because I say this because you are going to think certain things are aligned with your goal if your goal is only weight loss.
Okay, that's a really good point.
You're going to say,
if your
oh,
goal
yes,
is to get to a
fasting
scale,
is aligned with my goal because I will lose weight if I do that. This sardine
That's the
fast is aligned with
problem.
my goal because
Yes.
the weight.
That is,
That's what's screwing you up. That's what's having you look in the wrong direction.
guys, this is why, this exact thing is why so many people struggle for so long doing all the wrong things. Is because everything, listen to me very carefully, everything aligns with a weight loss goal. Everything.
Gimmick, every marketing trend.
That's how they sell it. That's why it's a $1 billion industry. Weight loss is not the answer. If it was, we wouldn't be where we are today. Okay? The answer is quality of life and your ability to do what the hell you want to do when you want to do it.
Think and believe that weight loss will do for you. If you can answer that question, you'll get to the real goal and then you can focus on that properly.
Yes.
And you can weed out
all the
things
crap
that don't need
and you
to be
won't
in
spend $400, $700, $13,000 on crap that doesn't
and years
do
of your
anything
time
for
of
you.
your life not achieving it.
Yeah. Oh. Wow.
Okay, I want to do another example because this is such a good, tangible example of trade-offs. Macros. When you learn, this is why I love to teach macros because I like to say, my goal for every client I've ever worked with is not that you have to track what you're eating for the rest of your life. You learn to track macros so you can understand trade-offs so that you eventually can make the decisions about what's going into your body without having to think about the numbers and track everything. But the biggest thing people learn when they learn to track macros is, oh, wow, I was way overeating carbs or fats or both and way under eating protein.
That's the biggest one we see, yeah.
It's always the first thing we see is, okay, now that I've gotten my macros and I'm trying to hit them,
I got to eat how much
how
protein?
the hell do I get all that protein what's the rest of that question?
Without all the fat.
Without overdoing the fat.
Yep.
Or the carbs.
Yep.
Right? It's because you just never understood before what made up the food that was on your plate and what was going on in your body. How about the other one we always hear? I barely eat and I can't stop gaining body fat. I can't lose the body fat. I'm barely eating anything. And then what happens when they track?
Yep.
It adds up to a lot more
Barely eating
than you thought.
anything. I'm barely eating.
These little things you were eating had so much extra carbs and fat with so little nutritional value.
Right. Just because you're not eating a meal, which is a lot of people don't, a lot of people graze, that you're getting something in your body, it's still adding up.
Two things that if you eat these two things in what you think are small amounts, they're not small amounts. Nuts, nut butters, and cheese and dairy.
Cheese will get you. Cheese gets me.
Nuts and dairy.
I'm having cheese later.
It's the tablespoons, quarter cups of heavy cream. It's the butter and the butter bites and everything you make with butter on carnivore to replace the sweet things you were eating before. It's the
Why are you attacking? Why are you attacking me? Why are you attacking me?
Oh, and let's throw pepperoni in there while we're doing it. Since I saw somebody bought
there's
pepperoni the other day.
I totally forgot I had that. Thanks for reminding me. Thanks for reminding me.
You have cheese and pepperoni.
I know.
He's like pizza eggs this morning.
Pizza eggs. Yep, pizza eggs. I might even throw some ground beef in there too.
Yeah, so those little things, they add up to a lot more. You could have had an entire meal. Mm-hmm. And what else did they discover when they start eating enough protein? What they thought was a little bit macros wise, when we assign their macros and it looks like it's going to be so little, they're like, I can't eat this much.
Yep.
Because the protein is filling you up and you didn't have that before. You were eating hyper palatable, even though they might be real food, cheese and pepperoni, for example.
Oh my God, you could eat so much of it.
And nuts. I can eat an entire bag of cashews and still feel like I barely ate anything. Why are you hiding?
Nothing. Nothing.
Because it's not giving you what you need, macros wise, micros wise.
Yeah.
So your body still wants more.
There's always a trade-off.
And it's so tasty. You're now wanting more of a tasty snack because it was snack food. Mm-hmm. When there's this, that's a whole other element. But the trade-offs, the concept of I'm limiting something and I have a goal to hit of something else, it's not going to be easy to do that when you first start out.
Bring that one home. It's something we haven't talked about in a while.
Yeah, go for it.
How many clients have you had? I know I've had a handful who were struggling with getting where they wanted to go, making progress. And the minute they stopped eating keto chow, things went click. And everything started working the way we expect it to work. When they get off of that crutch, right? Yep. And this is where we talk about progression. Here's another concept. In order to progression, here we go. Ready for this one?
Here we go.
Progression is nothing more than establishing a new trade-off.
Ooh, okay.
Because you're going from one thing to the next thing, right? Yep. It is, when you're going from this was my trade-off to get where I am, what's the next trade-off? You have to look, guys, you have to look for the next trade-off in order to get where you want to go, right? So many of you are stuck in the keto chow trap, okay? Nothing against keto chow. We love it. It's got a role. It has a place in many people's journey. I'm not saying that keto chow is bad, but there is a time where you need to get off the keto chow and start getting into real food in order for you to move forward.
Oh, here's a great example.
Right? So trading that old thing and moving into, I need to trade my keto chow for real food, that's hard.
Yes. I was going to say a good example is in prep, going from an off season or a building phase where I have a lot more to work with. All my macros are higher, and then I'm going into a prep and I'm pulling back on the fats usually. But if I've allowed my carbs to come up to a certain amount, I'm pulling back on that too. I might have, when they were higher, I had more room to have more indulgences, more fun things in there, right? And that might include protein creamies, ice creams, snacks, treats, desserts. When it's time to shift into prep, or after I've been on prep for a little while and I'm pulling back on my macros, usually the energy macros, carbs and or fats and or carbs, I should say. I now need to say, okay, my body's going to be a little depleted of energy. I'm taking some energy out. How can I maintain the most amount of micronutrition to keep my nourishment to keep the nourishment up. And this is where we make, a lot of people are making that mistake when you're trading real food meals for protein shakes of any kind. At least Keto Chow has some micronutrition thrown in there, but it's supplemental. It's not in a whole food form. It's not in the form that our bodies were meant to receive. So at some point in my preps too, I might start out incorporating all this protein powder, but eventually, as we're getting a little closer and closer to stage, I'm going away from the non-food items to more whole food items. Yeah.
So we kind of talked about two aspects of this balance thing. One is the focus aspect, and then the other one is the trade-off aspect.
Yeah.
So I just want to make that clear in case anybody was kind of like, how we kind of went all over the place. What we really, just kind of recap a little bit, is balance is a myth if you have a big goal that you want to work for. Okay. We're also not saying that being balanced is bad. I want to make that very clear. If you're at a point where you're comfortable with your life, you're happy with your health, you can do the things you want to do, you've reached whatever goal you've set for yourself, and you don't have any desire to push for something that's going to cause an imbalance, then live your balance. You do you. Right? I mean,
check out my maintenance masterclass, because
that's what we call maintenance,
okay,
right?
When do you go into maintenance? Sometimes you might be in the midst of a goal and big life changes come up. Tragedy, injury, illness, like major illness, right? Or something in your family, or some big things that are rocking your world. You may need to take a moment and say, let me look ahead. Let me once again look realistically at what's going on in my life. Does it make sense for me to focus on this goal right now? Or is it time to actually pull back a little bit and have more balance in my life? Over these last few years, I've been trying to get my testosterone up. And I struggled with recovery. I struggled with being able to train as frequently and consistently and as intensely as I have in the past. So I shifted the way I was training during since my last show, and even during that last
year.
Yeah, even during the last prep. I wasn't training as frequently. I took more rest days. I had to make it a more balanced approach than it would have been in the past, because my body needed healing in a particular area. I'm finally now coming out of that to where I just literally this week trained 3 days in a row and felt amazing and continued to get the recovery. Feel really good today on my first rest day. And it's like, okay, I think I'm finally going to be able to ramp it up again. But I had to have a season where I wasn't always pushing for the next thing in the gym. So you have to look at all those things. There is time for balance, but you also cannot be upset about not reaching a particular goal. I wasn't over here crying over not putting on 10 pounds of muscle in the off season or having my best ever physique on stage. My last stage appearance was not my best appearance. I was not the most conditioned I've ever been, because I took stock of where I was and what the goal was, and the goal shifted. The goal was to get back on stage. It wasn't about my best appearance. It wasn't about going for a title. That wasn't the time to do it.
Since you're talking about your personal stuff, I'll tell you a little bit about mine. In the process of prioritization, I understand anybody who struggles with wanting a lot of things. Okay, if any of you know me, there's a lot of things that I have in my head that I want to do. I want to be able to do all of them, whether it's projects, whether it's work, whether it's fitness, whatever. I want to do it all. So this is something that I continually practice in prioritizing and where my focus is. But even right now, I my goals right now, I have 3 main goals when it comes to just general lifestyle. One is work, right? Doing well, showing up, being there, being successful, doing things I need to do there. My mom, when I was growing up, my mom always said, work hard to become a leader. And that's kind of how I approach work. That's one. The second one is school. And that's a big one for me right now. That's probably at the second. It's second because I can't pay for school if they don't have the job. But from a desire and passion perspective, it's at the top of the list, right?
Yep.
From a reality perspective, the job comes first. But so we got those 2 things. And then the third one is my physical capability, my fitness. And that's where I struggle right now because I have a lot of competing desires. A lot of competing desires. I have a lot of strength goals. There's some specific things that I've had on my list of things to do for years that I want to work towards. From a specifically strength perspective. But I also have a real enjoyment of the CrossFit environment and doing the things there to be as physically capable across a broad range of things, right? And then I also want to look good naked, right? I have a desire.
I like that you have that goal,
right? To have you look at me naked and go, oh yeah, right? I can't do all 3 of those at the same level. And so I struggle sometimes with feeling like I'm going to go lift for the next 6 weeks. And then I get a week or 2 in of just lifting heavy. And then I'm like, oh, but I want to do a CrossFit class. And then I go do a CrossFit class. It's right. Yeah. So there's this back and forth. So I understand the struggle, guys. I really, really understand the struggle.
He has to work hard on not dividing his attention, especially in the performance goals, right? Yes. Because I would say your job for you, that doesn't take a lot of effort and focus for you to show up and do well there, right? So that's not a big goal that you're striving to get to another level.
That's maintenance right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Work is maintenance. School, to an extent, is maintenance.
Right.
Right now.
Yeah, right. And especially right now, I'm off.
Now, and then when you start your doctorate, there's going to be a season where it's going to be brand new. It's going to be something that takes more of your energy. And when you first started your master's, you took a step back.
On the fitness. I took a few weeks where it's just like, I'll go a couple of days a week, but I need to get my head wrapped around what this is. Yeah, for sure.
And what was one of those 3 last year that you decided this year was not going to be a focus?
Of the 3?
Not of the current 3. It was.
Oh, there was a 4th one, and that's all the projects and business stuff, right? Yeah, just took that off altogether.
Yeah.
Well, not altogether. It's definitely a smaller.
Yes.
There's things still happening and stuff there, but much smaller focus there. So the focus has definitely shifted. School is now at the top. It was business at the top, right? And then fitness. Fitness is always right in the middle between all of those things, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I understand, guys. She understands. We get it. It's not. I want everyone to understand something. This is a total segue, side thought. We get on here and we talk about the things that we've learned through our education and training and working with people and the things that we've done, the work that we've done ourselves and helping other people get through a lot of these things. But that doesn't mean we've got it all figured out. Okay? So a lot of the stuff that we're talking about is because it's stuff we are dealing with or have dealt with.
Down to you,
right? This is not something that we're these experts and we've got everything all figured out. Just listen to what we say and your life will be great. There's a reason we have these things to say. It's because we're going through it just like anybody else. So just remember that. Just keep it real there a little bit.
Yeah. You know, I had a moment this morning where I realized,
You realize how awesome I am?
I realized, it's Easter season. It's April. I had a flashback moment of when we were living in Colombia.
The city, not the country.
Yeah, that would be cool.
No, it would not.
And I thought, oh my gosh, I binged and purged in that apartment. And hid that from you at the time. And I was like, I can now say it's been 2 years. And that's not a long period of time. I've been on this journey, my own health and fitness journey from the very beginning about, we're in 2025, like 14 years ago. And, had a big, I've talked about this on my channel, big, huge bulimia relapse after 18 years in 2020. And then another relapse after that, after my show in 2022. And this is after success as an athlete, success as a coach, success as a business person, right? None of us are exempt from setbacks. It happens. But the question is, where do you want to go? What do you do about it? Do you stay there? I had a moment of, oh my gosh, it's been 2 years and I haven't even thought about it. It doesn't take any focus anymore. And but that's one piece of the puzzle, right? That's one huge part of my journey that is no longer a burden and a struggle and a focus and it has to be a priority. And now I'm free to allow other things to become a priority because that is handled. It doesn't mean that I'm perfect in everything now.
Trust me. Oh my God.
Oh boy.
All right. I haven't seen any questions, so let me see if there's any comments or.
Blue Love says freedom. Hell yes. Way to go. Thank you, love. Yeah, no, I don't have questions. Anybody have any questions before we hop off?
Indigo Nilly said, love this concept. It helps with come back. Love this concept. It helps with the guilt, shame that comes from feeling like we should be perfect at everything all the time, seasons of life.
The expectation thing, right? And that's what we talked about last week is this, like, the suffering comes from this perception of how we think things should be and when it doesn't match up with reality. So I'm a big fan of reassessing your goals and your action plan for those goals at least once a quarter, at least every 90 days. Okay. I love setting goals at the beginning of the year for 12 months and then assessing those every 90 days to say, okay, am I doing what I said I was going to do toward these goals? If yes, if no, why? Because then you have to assess, okay, if I'm not showing up the way I want to show up, do I change the plan? Or do I need to shift something to start showing up that way? Right?
Well, there's the whole.
And is the goal still the same? And, assessing all of those things.
Yeah, this might be a little more deeper in the weeds, but when you're looking at making decisions about what you're going to do, there's the 3 questions. Am I ready? Am I willing? And am I able?
Yes.
To do this thing. So, yeah. All right. Thank you guys for coming. We appreciate your, what's the word? Viewership? Is that the word? Watching us ramble and talk every week.
Yes.
This was episode 60. Can you believe that?
That's exciting.
You think we'll ever get to like the hundreds?
Yes, we will.
You think so?
Yep. It only takes 2 years of weekly.
That's true.
To get
and
there.
We're already over halfway. Okay.
Plus, I have been hearing from clients and members of my Facebook group that coffee chats are one of the most powerful things for them.
Really?
Yes, in their journeys. So
interesting.
Look at that.
Okay. Huh.
And it's free.
And it's free. And we started it kind of on a whim. We just felt like, why did we do this? Because we were doing the podcast. That was too much work.
It was a lot of work to do the editing, formatting, getting everything up. Yeah. So
we just did it one time, right? And just kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you might have said, well, why don't we do this? One of us said,
just do something on a weekend and then go for it. Cool. Yeah. Can I tell you an idea that I had while we were talking?
Sure.
That's totally this, but I can't just keep things What if we did these with other people?
Like had guests on. I love it.
That would be a lot more production,
That would be fun.
but
no,
maybe
I
we
mean,
can
on
look at
Instagram, it's easy.
well, but I have my YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah.
So it'd have to be, if we did it
Like
with
a
someone,
Zoom or
they'd have to
something?
be
No.
able to do
Or a,
YouTube or Instagram and YouTube at the same time for one person to do it. We'd have to figure this out. But it just thought occurred to me, like when Indigo popped up, I instantly was like, it'd be cool to have her on. Right?
And Jonathan.
Jonathan, and there's so many people that join, and Zane was on yours and
Yep.
whatever else. Like,
all right, y'all.
that'd be kind of cool.
If
But I don't know
you're
how to do it, but we got to
in
figure
this
something out.
space, one of the people we just mentioned, or anybody else who's popping on watching, and you want to be a guest on one of our coffee chats, holler at us, DM me on Instagram, post on his YouTube. We'll holler at you. We'll figure
something out. Maybe we just
And
do
if you're
something different
viewing
altogether.
and there's somebody you want us to have on,
Yeah, maybe we just do something different altogether, and it's not part of the coffee chat. Maybe we
Maybe
just
it's
do
separate.
another once every couple weeks or once a month or
That
something.
could
We
be
just
cool.
do like an
A
interview
whole separate
on
thing.
Zoom or something. A whole
yeah,
separate-
because we could do that on StreamYard, or we could do it on
Right.
both of our YouTubes
right, and on theirs if they
and
have
on
one.
theirs. I like it.
Just thought.
It aligns with my goals of showing up more in front of the camera.
Right. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next week. What are we talking about next week? Have we decided yet?
Give us ideas.
Oh, we want to do something. So the last few weeks have been a much more mindset. I think we want to do something more fitness focused. We talked about that, right? Something
Yeah.
that's more specifically about fitness. So
drop your questions.
drop your questions if you have. Maybe we
Topics
just do a
about
fitness.
fitness.
Oh, wait. Next week is a Q&A.
Didn't we
'Cause
just
this-
do one? I felt like we just did
But
one.
it's the first month. Next week is the
First week of the
first
new
week
month.
of the new month.
All right, let's do it.
So questions and answers next month.
Fitness focused Q&A.
Fitness focused Q&A. Send us all your questions, guys. See you.